Stacy, we are back from our big week last week.
Howdy. Wow. Wow.
This is episode 79. As 79. You see, the Rocky Files official ring card girl, Stacy. No one, and I do mean this, nobody moves that ring card like you.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, correct. You're a wacko.
How about that feedback from last week? I mean, we knew it would be pretty decent.
Yes. Yes.
It was very, very monumental. It was an emotional episode, not only for us, for me, but for people watching.
Yeah.
They were really taken aback, I think, by Sly's candidness and by his the amount of time that he took out of his life to sit and record a video for the podcast. And I'm thrilled that nobody else has that. We do. Maybe in the future other people will, but we got that, and that's a great deal to me. But just that he was so open and raw to a lot of, for all of us to see that and continue to watch it. I can't thank him enough. I mean, you must have gotten some great replies from people.
Can I tell you I want to thank everyone for just the way they thanked us. You know what I mean? They were so grateful, so emotional. It was very special to have that much time from him, that he carved out that much time. And I just, I'm just so grateful that it meant that much to everybody who watched it, because we were so excited to have it, and then I don't think we've never had as many YouTube comments as we've had on any video.
100 people in one viewing in the chat watching. That was great. It really was. And I know a lot of people say, 100. Well, I know that's not like Joe Rogan numbers.
Right.
But then again, we don't have Joe Rogan notability. Like people don't, a lot of people don't know we're here. I mean, we got 3,000 people that know we're here. That's great. And where were the other 2,900 people? Why weren't you watching on YouTube? Don't you know? I don't care if you're halfway around the world. Other people did it. Reminder was up, wasn't he?
Yeah, he sure was.
Of course he was.
Yep.
You know why? Because he's a man. He's a true man. And then all the women that were on around the world, must be equal in mentioning everyone. So of course.
Well, we're almost to 1,300 views on the video as of now.
That's good.
But the 100 is significant because it's simultaneous views. We can have anywhere from 18 to high 20s simultaneous views happening at the same time. So when we had 100, we hit 100 a few times simultaneous views. That was literally more than 3 times of what we usually have.
That's great.
And to be hitting 1,000 views, I think we hit 1,000 views or almost 1,000 views in under 24 hours. That was a very big deal. So that's
amazing to me.
Yeah. So just so grateful. And then Mikey Gonzalez, his video that he sent to us via a YouTube link, I'm going to be posting it. The way he reacted really sort of sums up everyone's reaction and his response, and in terms of the excitement and the appreciation, and there was just a genuine way about him in that video. So I'm going to post it, and I just want to say thank you to him because he really encapsulated everybody's reaction.
Yeah,
Wow. Just got done watching the podcast. Wow. What an episode. What a night. Got very, very teared up listening to Sly talk. Being able, as I sent a message to you, Mike and Stacy, being able to listen to him think and talk. And I was saying the same thing that Mike, you had brought up towards the end. I've watched hundreds of interviews and documentaries and everything, and a lot of same questions, yes. But to watch him think about something and then bring in what's going on up here, and you allowing the world to see that, that was great. I'll keep this short. That was so, I don't want to say, like having my kids and everything, but that was such a great experience to be able to be part of that and like listen to and watch that. That was fantastic. Another thing, how you guys were saying, how he's very busy and just, he takes the time just to hit like on a post. That's how I feel when it comes to used to. I'm going to be very honest with you. Just the fact that you guys take the time, Stacy, when my daughter Jordan was born, you made that post about my daughter being born, or Mike, obviously mine and Sybil's wedding day. Just the fact of you guys taking the time that you guys do in your life to acknowledge the fans. That's, obviously if Sly ever said, "Hi, Mike Gonzalez," me, I would go nuts. But I get justification as a Rocky fan, A, being on your podcast, but B, Mike, you acknowledge me, Stacy, you acknowledge me. Like, I get that same kind of feeling that you guys got through you guys. All right, I know I'm going over your time. I love you guys. Phenomenal job tonight. Phenomenal. All right, I gotta go. I love you guys.
He has a very infectious energy.
Yes.
Really get you. If he's going on and about and he's in the same room as you, there's no way you're in the reclined position in the chair. You're up moving. Okay.
Yeah. High energy. They are always
exactly
high energy family. They're adorable.
Definitely.
And then to Sly, I just wanted to say thank you so much, because all those videos, the birthday video messages that we all sent in, I mean, just good job to the entire Rocky bubble. You guys sent us 47 or 48 videos came in, and
wow.
Those all got posted individually. He went through and liked them all. So it was just amazing. I know he missed just a couple, but we know that he saw them all. And so
he was writing to a fair amount of people too.
Right.
And
a lot of people got comments.
That's a big deal. So you just never know. So honestly, if you want to get a shot at Sly seeing something or mentioning something, you never know what it's going to be that's going to draw that eye there. So send these messages in, send these thoughts and videos. When Stacy asks for them, send them in. You never ever know. Someday, maybe, I don't know, you'll be at a dinner table with them, or who the heck knows? I don't know.
You never know, but we do know he's watching, and that just proved it all the more for me. And so I was just so grateful for Sly that you took the time to because then I had not just the reactions to the episode, but the reactions to the likes to everyone's birthday. People were flipping out. They're like, "Oh my God, he knows I exist." And so it just means so much to people. So that was a whole lot of fun.
I know Nikki he was thrilled, and Elisa Bradshaw was thrilled.
Yep.
I know everybody really, it was really a big high five. And, Rivoli got a lot of love too. I was really happy, not only about the reveal of the poster, the new painting, but also just, he got a chance to just let people know he's very active. He's working on projects, and he was getting a lot of love. At least on my posts about it, people were commenting, and I saw on the Rocky Files they were. So kudos to John for hanging out with us as well.
Well, talk about putting in the time. He's put in over a decade. I mean, what? How many decades? A decade and a half?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of work, and now he has.
And the training before that, right?
Right. It's amazing. Yeah. And so I just want to pop up his picture. This is the latest release, Ready to Fight. So this is over at Icons and Art, folks. So you can certainly order that there. And then, of course, during the episode, he hints at more coming. So he's just, I can't wait for all of it. He just keeps going. He's so creative. I wish I had that kind of head. I don't.
No, I get it.
All right, let's go do some shout outs. It's been a very busy week in our bubble. And first and foremost, I just want to start with the Ferrara family. Now they are a party of 3. Look at this little man, Michelangelo Joseph Ferrara. You guys, just congratulations on this little dude. He's so cute. He was a little early, so it was a little scary the first week there, but he did great. He's home now.
Look at it already.
Yeah,
Rocky pose.
Right. It's like he's ready to be gloved up.
He just shot out and boom, Rocky pose.
Rocky pose is perfect.
Takes after his mom and dad very, very well. That kid's going places. You wait and see.
He's just so cute. And the smile, I just look at this little smile. And here's Jess.
Adorable.
Here's Jess. There she is. There's just no sleep right now, Jess. So just be tired and cranky. It's okay. It's just so hard right now. And then there they are together, all in their Rocky gear. They have him in the Rocky gear.
They are all geared up, and that is the way. That is what you call proper parenting, right there.
Exactly.
Forget about school. Forget about going to grade school or kindergarten. That's useless. Forget about that. Just put the kid in front of the television. Put Rocky. I put all the Rockies on, and just let them pick it up that way. I'm telling you, kids are like sponges. That's all you need.
Oh, so cute. And then Joanne Yee, her brother was in Halifax. This was so cool. She sent us this picture. They ended up parking right next to Sly's yacht. So I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. So I guess this is Sly's yacht, according to Joanne Yee's brother. So that's kind of a cool thing. That's unbelievable, that boat.
That is very cool. If it is, in fact, his. I mean,
right.
We're assuming it is.
We're assuming it is. Somehow, yeah, I'm assuming it is. Somehow he must have known that. Maybe he saw him. I'm not sure. Speaking of sightings, Larry Brem, just went to Gold's Gym and bumped into Arnold.
Good old Larry. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic?
Isn't that awesome?
You got to love it, man. You got to love it.
Yeah, and then he had this picture too. So,
fantastic.
So that's fun. What a fun thing to do. We love Arnold too.
I wonder how the interaction went with Larry and Arnold. Like, how was Arnold?
Right.
Was he grumpy? Was he happy? I've seen Arnold be a little grumpy at times. Not that I would hold that against him. I don't. I mean, we all get grumpy at times. I'm interested to see how the interaction went. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I mean, if he stopped for a picture, I'm assuming he was in a slightly good mood, hopefully. And one thing I forgot to mention, Mike, before we started, I did have some pictures ready. Sly was in Nantucket for his birthday.
He was. How about that?
He was. And I do have some pictures from that. I wanted to show those off.
I remember when I was a kid, we went to Nantucket and went out to Cape Cod, the whole thing out there, and Block Island, and I believe that was probably 1982, and that was I got an early birthday present, and it was my Walkman, and I had audio recorded some of the Rocky movies, and I remember watching Rocky on the beach. Rocky 3 had come out, and so there was this little beach by where we were staying, and I would run up and down with the Walkman on. But the Walkman, they were like the size of a bread box at the time. It was huge. So it had this leather strap, and it looked like the tricorder that the doctor wore the Bones wore in Star Trek. And so when I would run down the beach along the water, it would flop up and give me bruises on my hip.
Aww.
But in my mind, I was Rocky 3 on the beach. It didn't matter. So Nantucket, beautiful area up there.
Yeah, it is. It is beautiful. But here he is with a few fans. Just love the reach around. I know how she feels.
There he is.
And he's at the fish market there. Another fan.
He just can't get away from it.
Yeah, and another fan. And then I put together some of his goofy videos. It was so funny. Hang on a second.
New Orleans, Detroit City, Dallas, Pittsburgh, PA, New York City, Kansas City, and LA.
Nantucket at the seafood store. You go in the back, small, all this stuff.
Everything's always fresh.
Here's a grouper. What do you think of the seafood store?
He always did stuff like that. Like, people think Sly's gotten goofier over the years because, he took too many punches during Rocky or fell off too many cliffs in First Blood. No. If anyone had gone back and watched Sly, even in Derek's movie, I believe it was the 40 years of an American, what was it? 40 years of an American hero?
Hero?
Derek,
I'll put it up.
I apologize, Derek, but in that documentary about the origins of Rocky, We see Sly doing many of the same faces there.
Yeah.
This is who Sly is. He really is a light-hearted, goofy, fun guy.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, and I know he said that Rocky is the closest to his personality, I would just, and his mind probably wasn't thinking about this at the time, but I would just put a little dabble of Nick Martinelli in that. Now, if you guys don't know who Nick Martinelli is, that is the character, the cab driver he played in Rhinestone with Dolly Parton. I feel that character and the best parts of Rocky, I feel that is who Sly is as an individual. I may be wrong, but that's always been my take. Anyways, get out of that.
So you, my dear, let's look at our lineup here. You had a very cool package arrive at your house.
Yeah, I did.
Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, Rick Babcock, one of our just what a great guy. I mean, he's always throwing stuff our way. He's always so nice and complimentary, and he does such great work with our t-shirts. There you go. The Rocky Files, at the Rocky Files. I mean, it's all he's just so detail oriented, and he's really all about it. Anyways, he sent me a box with 2 motorcycles in it. And I had always wanted the Rocky 3 motorcycle. And a lot of people don't realize this. There were 2 motorcycles built. The one was the first one in 3. And then there was the second one in 5 that doesn't have Sly on it. It has Rocky Jr. on it. And so we got to put a few pictures up here. But Rick had said it was something I had suggested to him a while back. And then I didn't hear anything. I know he's a busy guy. And I had gotten another Rocky 3 motorcycle from a guy in the UK. But when it arrived in several pieces, unfortunately. I did glue it back together, and at a distance, it looks very nice. Anyways, Rick went the extra mile, and he found 2 base models, and then he reworked them. He took everything apart and reworked it, and he made parts for it and all of it. Anyways, Stacy, I guess maybe we should see the one from the movie first. Yeah, however you had it set up. I know you had it set up.
Okay, so the movie, hold on a second. Okay, here's some from the movie. You can see a little bit of it there from Rocky 3.
Right.
And then this one here. This one, it's dark, but yeah, you can still see it. Yeah, with the statue there.
The white rings around the tires, the white walls.
And so here it is.
And that's the one, I believe, from Heritage Auctions when it went for sale.
Okay.
Yeah, from Rocky 3.
This is Rick's.
Right. Isn't that amazing?
Absolutely beautiful.
So we were talking about this, and so we started going back and forth. We just had a conversation, I think yesterday or the day before, and he wants to really fine-tune this to get it down so it's so perfect. So we went over, I gave a couple of suggestions, but he had done such a great job with it as it is, and anyone would be thrilled to have one of these in their collection. So that wasn't enough. Now there's a Rocky 5 one.
Yes.
That we have.
Yes. Here, that's the Rocky 5 one. And then we have, so there's Sage.
So that was the scene where the ghost of Mickey comes back. And that's Burgess. No, I'm kidding. Get off the bike, kid. It's been sold. Come on, get off the bike. That's part of the crew that was carting away all of Rocky's things. There's the Maserati or the Mercedes on the back. You could see the red Ferrari. You could see the No Easy Way Out Lamborghini there over the shoulder.
Right.
And so we never see Sly on this bike, but it's, supposedly the Italian Stallion bike. But I always thought it was kind of interesting. Here's some more pictures of it at the old Planet Hollywoods. It used to be there. Here's one at his old house around 1988, Rambo 3 days.
And then Barbara.
Of course, the very famous interview in 1988 with Barbara Walters during Rambo 3. Sly's got the Terminator shades on, and he drove up his driveway on the motorcycle with Barbara on the back, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I'm assuming, and I it's hard to say because I know the guy that Nick, Agent Nick, I know he has the Rocky 5 one, but then some people think that it's the Rocky 3 one. But I know another guy named Randy Russo, he bought the Rocky 3 one, and he had showed me it. So I think Randy Russo I think he still has the third one. I don't think he sold it yet. And I as far as I know, Nick has the other one at his home, and it looks fantastic there.
Wow.
It's just beautiful bikes. I mean, could you imagine owning this beautiful piece of Rocky mythology? It's amazing.
Yeah, I'd be too afraid to ride it. You don't want to crash it or damage it in any way. This is Rick's Rocky 5. I just wanted to pop this up. This is what you received. It's just
and already you can see
detail.
He's gone to the next level. He's really working hard on it. And on the saddlebag, you can press the buttons and the lights go on, and it makes a vroom vroom sound. It's really cool. I'm like a 5-year-old rolling it around the floor.
That's awesome.
Mom, look what I got for Christmas. It's great.
Well, he's already gotten 3 orders on it, so I just
that's great.
Yeah, so that's we were excited. We were so excited for him. Let's see what else now. Turtle bowl.
Yeah, turtle bowl. So my life is busy and complicated and so on. I don't have time for pets. So I got 2 petrified turtles, and for decades I've been looking for the turtle bowl from Rocky 1, which that is a deleted scene because he's got the gray sweatshirt, and they never wore that alone talking to the bull. But you could see it is a 12-inch version of the bull. They do make 10-inch versions. There is another great shot of it next to Moby Dick on a little table. And of course, he's holding Cuff and or Link. And then he's got the bull in Rocky 2. Now, this is very, 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 very difficult to come by. And Stacy, do you know who helped me find this bowl?
I know.
Who found this bowl for me?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I told my husband because Kevin says to me, he goes, "Is there anything Mike doesn't have?" I'm like, actually, there's one thing he doesn't have. And it was the turtle bowl. So you give Kevin a challenge like that. He's like, oh, he's on it. So he was looking, and then he found one. He's like, "Is this it?" I'm like, "Oh my God, I think that's it." We did a little more research and we found it. Yeah.
It was absolutely crazy. And what I would do is I would, like, on a day off or as a rainy day or whatever, or I just needed a break from whatever, I would go to thrift shops and I would look at old glass bowls. That's where I bought a lot of these things. That's where I found a lot of these items. And then of course eBay comes up and Etsy and so on. But it's amazing. Go to thrift stores, people. If you don't have nothing better to do with your time, go to a thrift store. You'll make a killing. I found a lot of Rocky stuff there. I found a vintage Rocky jacket from back in the day with
That's right.
I found that. I found my burgundy it ain't about a hard Dempsey jacket, right? The speech
blazer.
The blazer. So there's a lot of things you just never know what you're gonna find in these vintage shops. Anyways. Oh, look at that.
There he is.
Look at this moderately used to be handsome guy. Look at him.
Stop.
There he is.
Love it. I love it.
Balancing the ball. Stacy, do you know who Bill Overton is?
I did, and now I can't regurgitate it because we've talked about him before and I have no memory. So you're gonna have to tell the story.
So there was a picture and I don't mean to name drop here, but either I posted it or Sly posted it. I can't remember. And Sly put a comment on that he didn't remember who the guy was. Stacy, did I send you that picture?
This one?
Yes, that's the picture. So here is Sly. And you'll notice Sly's wearing the shorts he wears against Spider Rico, the boxing shorts. And he's training. He's getting himself in shape, which he looks like he's in pretty great shape there for the original Rocky. And this man standing next to him had been a nameless individual. People had forgotten what his name was. Sly had forgotten his name. And Sly had asked me, he said, if you ever find out who this is, let me know. And so the man is Bill Overton. And he is known as Jane Kennedy's husband. And if you guys know who Jane Kennedy was, she was an announcer or a broadcaster of some sort back in the 70s and the 80s, and that's who he was married to. He doesn't even have his own thing. He's married to Jane Kennedy. So Mr. Overton never really went all that far in the acting world. And I don't even know that he was originally cast to play Apollo. I don't believe that he was. I believe he was a understood temporary fill-in
Okay.
for the role. I think, and I could be wrong on that. Maybe Sly initially was going to go with him, but it ended up going up with Carl. But I don't think so. I think he was just a temporary. He knew he was a stand-in until they found an actor for it.
Is he still living? Do we know if he's?
I don't believe he is. I think
No.
he passed away. I think he passed away, but that has been a little mystery in the Rocky bubble that a lot of fans have always wondered, who is this guy? So, you know, we're on it.
Now we know. And it is the month of Sly. So that was a nice little factoid, Michael.
There you go. So we're done. We're out of here.
No, we have.
It's been a great. Let's just leave now because we can't compete with last week, right? We didn't schedule anybody this week, right?
Oh, we sure did.
Oh, we did?
Sure did. And
I am
were
so
very
sorry.
Excited about who we.
I forgot. I didn't get the memo. You just reminded me. I apologize. No, no. Please bring in our guest.
Our guest. So this gentleman you met on a tour. This is Caleb Ellis. Let me bring him in here. Boom! There you are.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up,
How you
Caleb?
doing?
Good to see you. Good to see you again.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Stacy. Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, we were so happy you could come with us. I read your story. You filled out the guest form. Thank you very much. And yeah, you have quite a story, and you had quite a bit of fun on Mike's tour. You sent us some awesome pictures. My gosh, let's just go to those real quick because they are so fun. This right here, and this right here. Wow, look at the smile. You guys, it's so awesome.
Man.
I love it.
I forgot it was a little chillier on that day.
It was January, late January. I think it was the day after my 30th birthday or a couple days. That's my wife surprised me. And, you know, it's always been my dream, of course, to go to Philly and see the Rocky sites. And so I told my wife, like, one day, babe, if you take me to the Rocky Steps, there's only one tour that we can go on. And I told her all about Mike and the Yo Philly tour. And, you know, so of course my wife went above and beyond and set it up. And then we got to meet Mike, and that was amazing. And we just had a blast. So
and we covered a lot of ground, I think, verbally wise on the tour. If I recall, we had some really great conversations. You know, what is it about this character for you that made you had that compelling feeling to hit the bucket list of running the steps? Why Rocky?
I would say, just to answer your question, the quick answer, I would say Rocky. I love film. I'm just a huge film nerd. I love all the classics, but out of all those movies, even as a little kid, Rocky was and is like the most relatable character compared to anybody else. And I always found, I started watching Rocky when I was about probably 8 or 9 years old. And I just found that every stage of my life since I was a little kid, Rocky has always played some significant role in my life at different capacities, if that makes sense.
Right.
So when I first started watching Rocky, my older cousin, he's the one who introduced me to comic books, Star Wars, and just really got me into movies. And then, of course, it was the time where he said, "Have you watched Rocky yet?" And I said, "No, like, what's Rocky?" And so my remembrance is Rocky 3. So I was 8 or 9 years old. And of course, I love comic books and superheroes, and Superman and Batman are like my top two. And so he puts on Rocky 3. And I just remember watching the introduction of Rocky 3. Of course, it's when Rocky wins the world heavyweight title, and he says, "Yo, Adrian, I did it." And then it transitions into that epic scene where Eye of the Tiger is playing, right? And excuse me. And so he's just, you know, on top of the world. He's defending his championship. You see his name in the fireworks, and he's going after, you know, fight after fight after fight. And he's just on top of the world. He's in his prime. And when you see him, to me, he became my new superhero. Right. And people are cheering his name, and he's, you know, winning, and he,
right.
on all the magazine covers, and you look at him, he's just chiseled to the bone and looks like a Greek god, and and so at that point, Rocky was my superhero at
Gotcha.
8 or 9 years old. And so fast forward, I get a little bit older, start going, to high school, and I always kind of struggled with, you go through puberty and you kind of deal with just these insecurities in life. I was overweight as a kid and just not very sure of myself, dealt with a lot of self-doubt and like we all do at some point in our lives, right? And so sure enough, I remember buying at the point it was just the Rocky anthology DVD set where I think it was Rocky to Rocky Balboa. But I remember it says the anthology set. And I think it's Rocky IV cover where he's got the American flag. And so I said, I'm just going to restart the Rocky movies. And I didn't really remember what, the beginning Rockies were like. I just remember Rocky 3 and 4 where he's, this indestructible, amazing people's champion, the superhero.
Yeah.
And so I remember just turning on, the original Rocky. I'm going to watch them all in order. And of course, to my surprise, and it didn't really dawn on me till I was a little bit older, that in the very beginning, Rocky is just a human being trying to make it in the world like all of us. And to my surprise, he was this human being who struggled with all these self-doubts and insecurities. And, in the first Rocky, he's labeled a bum, right? It's like, if you were to have a drinking game about Rocky 1, take a shot every time someone calls him a bum, right?
Yeah.
And so from Rocky 1 to Rocky 2, those first two films really hit home for me because it really encouraged me, like, okay, I have these insecurities, I have these self-doubts, but I'm not alone, because Rocky, who became the world heavyweight champion and ultimately the superhero to so many people, went through the exact same things that I'm going through. And I just felt so much comfort in that, So
is it fair to say that Rocky gave you hope and perseverance?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. He's one who, met me where I was at, but then he was one that, told me to, keep moving forward.
Of course.
As he says in Rocky Balboa. And so he always just played these different capacities. When I was a kid, Rocky 3 and 4, he's my superhero. Rocky 1 and 2, he's my the human side, his humanity and his heart is something I just deeply related to. And then even, in Rocky Balboa, and then the movies after that, which we won't talk about, but his older grandpa trainer persona, just the warmth he had, and his mentorship, I found myself really appreciating that side of Rocky as well.
Well, you bring up a really, really great point, unfortunately, and I have to say something. So, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at what I'm about to say. So there were 3 movies that were made after the great Rocky mythology. The problem is that Sly is in them as Rocky, and as fans, you are compelled to see Rocky in anything. Like, I always felt there should be a across the board standard. Every single movie that ever comes out, and I think like Spielberg should go back into Jaws. I think he should go back into E.T. I think Lucas goes back to Star Wars, The Godfather, all of it. And you have to digitally reinsert Rocky. Maybe he's buying a coffee. Maybe he's walking down the street. The Marvel movies coming in the future. Rocky just walks down the street. He should be in every single movie because the air of hope and dignity that character gives all of us is monumental. So you have to go see these other 3 movies because you want to see Rocky. You don't necessarily want to see other people. And I know some people will want to see other people, but Normal people won't. So, anyways, no, I'm just teasing. I'm teasing, of course.
I love what you just said. He met me where I was at.
Isn't that impressive?
That was such. I was like, oh, I love that. Yeah, he does meet you where you're at, because he's been at all the places we've been in our lives. That was just a perfect way to put it.
Absolutely.
Yet he tells you to keep moving forward, because he did, and he went the distance. So that was so nice.
Yeah.
In the guest form that you filled out, I cannot tell you how many people have used the Rocky music to motivate them to exercise if they have weight goals. Tell us about that. I know that you wanted to get more physically fit when you were a kid, and you said in your guest form that you used the Rocky music to do that.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, like I said earlier, I always struggled, with my weight as a kid. I was a cute little chubby kid, and loved to eat, of course, and like I'm sure we all do. And yeah, so but there was a point in my life where if I just kept on going the direction I was at, I would just, there'd be no turning back. And so I was grateful my my mom and dad gently like had this talk with me, and they said, like, son, we love you, and we want what's best for you, and we're gonna make some lifestyle changes, in the ways that your activities, the way you eat. And they kind of went on that journey with me. And so I remember my mom, we went on a couple of diets. My dad helped me like, get good supplements and good vitamins and all that. But I live in Southern California, so we're surrounded by hills. And so my childhood home, we had these, hills and mountains kind of just behind us. And so I started just going up on these hikes every single day. And of course, I bring my earbuds and my iPod with me, and I would have, a little Rocky playlist with some other, score soundtracks in between, but it was mainly Rocky. Of course, Gonna Fly Now, Eye of the Tiger, Going the Distance, Hearts on Fire by John Cafferty. And I would just play those on repeat. And I'd always imagine myself like if Gonna Fly Now was playing, I'd be imagining myself as Rocky running through Philadelphia. Or if it was Hearts on Fire, I'd imagine myself in Rocky IV running up that mountain and, chopping down trees or whatever. But those movies, really inspired me and encouraged me. And I just saw myself as Rocky, putting in the work. And man, Sylvester Stallone in the Rocky films, there's something about like him working out that makes it look so fun and exciting. And
it's not
hard.
It's not fun. But you're right. That's a great way to put it, because you see the music going on, and you see, of course, Sly walks in with 3% body fat, and he's still upright, right? Sometimes a lot of us feel life is too short for abs, but in the movie, you're right. You make it just, oh, well, let's just go work out. Let's get that done and out of the way so I can look like that.
Right.
That's crazy.
And a lot of times it would take me rewatching the whole Rocky series just to, keep my consistent habits of working out and exercising. And, like those films I just cling to because they help me in everyday life. And they also help me with in the gym and exercising and keeping myself healthy. And I'm so grateful. It hits every single point in life,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
now, somebody became a writer. Tell us about that. Did I have on your guest form here?
I know I filled that out a while back. And I remind me what.
Yeah, no problem.
Are you writing? Are you writing something?
Okay.
Are you writing knock knock jokes? Anything?
Career in photography, filmmaking.
Yes.
That. Tell us about that.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah,
Sorry
no
about
problem.
that. Yeah, so I do freelance photography and filmmaking, and a lot of it is wedding photography and film, and so we do both photography and we offer video services. And so, but me and my best friend, he was my best friend who just passed recently, but we could get into that later. But we also like to create our own little like short films too. So it started off just with, when we were kids, just with a little flip camera, that's about that big, and we'd make these fun movies. And as we got a little bit older and we started taking photography and filmmaking more seriously, we sat down and we really wanted to make better quality short films that meant something to us personally. And so for him, he was the film editing guru behind the camera, and I really wanted to start writing, and of course I owe Rocky for that, with a few other films and television shows, because I love drama, and I love the sentiment like that Rocky makes me feel, and all the emotions, and so we wanted to start making some more deep, at least deep to us, dramatic films that really pierced our hearts. And so we have a YouTube short that's online, and it was just really fun. It's fun to watch, especially in light of him passing, but it's something I love. Stories, I love storytelling. And so
was he a Rocky fan like you?
He wasn't a Rocky fan like me. He always encouraged me, he always was like, but I was like, hey man, like if we were hanging out, he would say, hey man, let's watch a movie. I'm like, cool, let's. And he'd come up, he's like, no, we're not watching Rocky again this week.
And you stayed friends with him after that?
I know, right?
Oh, that's tough.
I know, exactly. Because for me, when you start with Rocky 1, it's like you can't just watch a Rocky movie. You have to watch Rocky. That's a good 2, point. Rocky 3. You have to watch all of them, and so yeah. But
I tried that argument in my house. It doesn't really last. It doesn't work here anymore. She's hip to my scam on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm putting the disc in the DVD player.
Right. But we have to watch them all. It's in numerical sequence.
Absolutely.
Go downstairs and watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's funny. So tell us about your friend real quickly. I know we actually had you scheduled before, and then you had unfortunately had to contact me, and we had to postpone because of his untimely passing. I think about how close Rocky and Mickey were. I'm assuming you guys were close like that. And if there was one thing you wanted us to know about your friend, what would that be?
Yeah, thank you for asking. And thank you guys for being so great and understanding. I know it was super last minute thing. But yeah, my best friend, his name's Casey, and we were childhood buddies, and that he was best man at my wedding. Just my brother, he's about 3 years older than me, and but he was the one who you could compare him to Mickey, or I like to think of him as the Apollo to my Rocky.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
In the sense of he's really the one who influenced me to just try things, and film and photography was the big thing, because he was very gifted and good at it. And when I started to show interest and started working with him, and we would just go to the beach and shoot or whatever, he would really encourage me and say, and when I'd be like, hating on my work or the photos I took or the video I took, he'd be like, no, dude, like that's great. Like here, and he'd show me new things. And he was just that friend that really encouraged me to pursue what I wanted to pursue, and that I was well able to conquer. And that's kind of how, Apollo was to Rocky in Rocky 3. And I love Rocky 3 so much because, unfortunately we lose Mick in that film. But I just love the epic duo that Rocky and Apollo have, because they're rivals. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, Apollo shows up and they join forces. It's so epic. But so I think of him as the Apollo to my Rocky, and it's it's been a journey. I'll just tell you guys a little bit, but it was very sudden and it was tragic. He unfortunately took his own life, and
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and it was a shock to all of us, and because he was always the most consistent person in our lives, always there for us when we needed him.
Yeah.
and never, of course, showed any signs of depression or mental health issues or anything like that. So it was just like a punch to the gut, right?
Right.
I think that's one of the things that Rocky always helps us with, is to be empathetic, more understanding, because you never know what that person is going through. Outside, everything is fine, but inside, they're broken down, but they don't know how to express that. And it sounds like maybe something like that was happening as well. It's got to be, like you said, a punch to the face, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was talking to my wife Natalia about this, which, you know, I have Mike to thank for the amazing tour that we went on in January, because I'm a person of faith, and I believe in God, and you know, at the beginning of this trip, when we went to the Rocky tour and went up the steps, on my Instagram, I posted all the pictures, and I quoted Rocky, you know, the iconic line, "It ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward." And so I believe that, in a sense, well, this Rocky tour was definitely something that I needed personally. And I, you know, trying not to get too deep or spiritual here, but I honestly think that God was probably preparing my heart for maybe some of the trials down the road, some of the hits that I would be taking personally, you know, because being up on the top of those steps and just seeing where Rocky walked, and you know, really adopting that Rocky mentality. Oh yeah, that was my remake. I don't know if you could tell, but I tried to remake the poster.
I did. I saw.
Yeah, so epic. But it was looking back, I was telling my wife, like, I really needed that tour, and I really needed that reminder that, you know, no one's going to hit as hard as life, right? And we're going to hit some hard hits. You know, Rocky's metaphor of fighting, and life is a fight.
Oh my God, yeah.
And so, looking back at just some of the stuff that's been going on in our lives recently, and losing my best friend, and that tour, I think, was really something that helped me, and without me realizing it, because obviously I wasn't expecting these things to happen. But
there's definitely an energy in Rocky Land. There's an energy that just comes off the buildings. There's an energy from the streets, and when you get to the steps, there's just something there. And it's one of the things that we talk about often. Not only are they acceptable, but they're also a form of hope and perseverance. That very much what the character stood for, because, you know, people there, religion, politics, all of that is aside, because that can get in the way of things sometimes. People are just one person. They're a Rocky fan, and they're just all humans. And that's what I love about the Rocky Steps more than anything. It just brings people together in a very beautiful, unique way where other places in the world don't. And I really think it should be like, I don't know how many wonders in the world there are, but last time I checked, there was 8.
Yeah.
Wasn't there like a recent 9th wonder somewhere?
I don't know.
All right, let's go with there's a 9th. So let's go. It should be the Rocky Steps should be the 10th wonder of the world. That's my opinion. Yeah. Caleb, what do you say we get a thing, an online petition going? We'll start it, and we'll keep pushing it out there. We'll go around. We'll do all the talk shows. We'll do Jimmy Fallon and Kimmel. We'll do everybody, and we'll get awareness. All right?
Yes, sir. Let's do it. I'm down.
Stacy, are you down?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You have some free time in your schedule?
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
I love it. The 10th wonder of the world. Absolutely.
Could you imagine that? My God. So, Stacy, listen, before we let Caleb get out of here, what else do we got for him? What thoughts? Because he's brought up some very interesting, accurate thoughts here about the character. What are you thinking?
It's funny, as you're talking about, you know, loss. Nicky Petito, he's been on with us twice, but his very first time, he talked about he lost his parents very, very young, and his answer why he loved Rocky was Rocky helped him grieve, which is not an answer I ever would have thought of, but from his perspective, you're like, yeah. And so I love what you said about how it was almost like it infused you ahead of time. That trip infused you ahead of time, or filled that gas tank, because you were about to faced something very tragic and very sad. So it was very timely. And I'm with you on that. There's no mistakes in the timing. Sometimes it makes you go, but yeah, I love that. So, and then your favorite quotes, I just wanted to talk about your wife just for a moment before we let you go and we get to our final question. The pictures of you and your wife, you guys are adorable. Can I just say, let me just
the best. I married up for sure.
Oh, you're so sweet.
She's remarkable. She really is.
You said she's got gaps, I got gaps. Together we fill gaps. You mentioned that as one of your favorite quotes. So tell us quickly how you met and how you knew this was your Adrian.
Yeah, absolutely. So we met about 6 years ago at we were both working at the same place, and for me, I saw her and she's so beautiful, and and I had no intention of going to talk to her because I'm like, well, she's not going to be into me. Like, what's even the point? And so, and so I just knew she was good looking, and so I take that back. I would go and talk to her here and there, kind of like a Jim and Pam dynamic, walking over to the front desk.
Right.
But but we just started talking, and I was grateful. We just became friends for a good while. I had moved to Florida for a few months to, pursue an opportunity that didn't really pan out, but I was there for about 3 months, and we were talking during that time. And then after the 3 months, I moved back, and she was a big reason why. And,
Nice.
Yeah. And we dated for about 4 or 5 years before we got married. And I'll tell you what, one of the biggest tests that I had to put her through to make sure she was the one was I sat her down and I said, all right, babe, like it's time. And she said, time for what? I'm like, it's time to watch Rocky.
That's it.
And so, and I'll tell you this, she sat down with me, I think in like a span of a month, and we watched, Rocky to Rocky Balboa. And it was great. And she watched all the movies and she enjoyed them. And I said, all right, you passed the test. Like, she's the one.
And I have to say this about her too. She was very attentive during the tour. Sometimes when people are on the tour and it's like if it's a family and the dad is the fan or whatever, the rest of the people in the car are playing Candy Crush or taking a nap or reading their emails. But not your wife. She was very, very attentive. I was impressed with that. And so that, because it can be a lot. If you're not a Rocky super fan or a Rocky enthusiast, the tour is 3 hours of talking about Rocky.
Right.
Right.
So, it's going to be a long tour if you're not a fan of some degree.
Right.
Well, and it's funny, Mike, too, because she, at first, because she's not as diehard as me. I would say
Understood,
that she loves Rocky because she loves me, and she'll watch the movies with me like every year on my birthday. And obviously my 30th was when we went to see you on your tour.
Right.
But initially she was like, I don't know, babe, how about you just go with Mike and I'll just stay at the hotel or whatever. And I'm like, no, like I want you to come, and let me tell you, like, you're gonna love Mike when you meet him. And I was just telling her about the Pretender and the podcast, and I'm not kidding, Mike. After that tour and just hanging out with you and talking with you, she was so blown away by you and your tour and just your natural charisma as a person. And you're
thanks.
such a good absolutely. And she, after that tour, she was like, okay, I kind of want to watch Rocky again when we get home. And I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm recording you. Like, this is happening.
I got that vibe from her. I did. I really got the vibe that there was definitely above neutral, right, when she got into the car when we first met. But by the end, there was a different energy about her. She was throwing off a different energy about interest with the tour. And I've gotten very good at that. Some people run out of the car before it stops, and others don't want to get out of the car.
Right.
And I'm like opening up the doors. Okay, I have an afternoon tour in 12 minutes. That's across town. I love you. But she
that was probably us. Yeah, we're just like, hey, so what about? And you're like, hey, I love you guys, but I got to get going here. We could have been on that tour all day. I mean,
no, you guys are so genuine, really genuine, and that's one of the things I take away and recall about you guys is that and her vibe at the end of the tour. And I thought, oh, okay, well, maybe we made a good impact on her, good teamwork.
Absolutely, sir. And let me tell you, I think the big part, I'm sure you hear this all the time, Mike, but if there were anybody else, I know there's other Rocky tours out there, but you truly make the majority of the tour. You're the way, just who you are, your charisma,
thank
your
you.
knowledge, and then just the way your passion for Rocky, and it really is what makes the tour special. And that's something that I know for a fact. I haven't been on any other tours except for yours, but that's something that, you can't find anywhere else.
Right.
And I think that was something that I knew going into it, because I've been following you for a while before, but my wife didn't know you. And that was something that really impressed her and made
Thank
her
you.
really...
Please tell her I said thank you. And I appreciate that, because when you start to do something like that, you never know how it's going to be received. And there's no rule book on how to do a Rocky tour. And I never had a business class. I never went to college, so I don't know how to. So it was a lot of trial and error, and I'm glad to see that it's gone in a positive direction. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course.
Thank you, Caleb. I mean, you're just a sweetheart. I mean, that's plain to see. And I love what you said about your wife, and how it's sort of, the tour sort of clicked her up a notch. You know what I mean? Up to Rocky dial a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting, because I think Rocky can click. If it doesn't click with you as a child, later on, when you've been through a few things, all of a sudden you're like, wow.
Some people just need a Rocky whisperer. You know
right?
What I mean?
We know a guy.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, we went home after the tour, or after the trip, and because when we went to Victor's, she, and you were talking about how, the scenes in Rocky Balboa and all that. She was like, I don't think I've seen this Rocky Balboa. And I'm like, yes, you have. Like, trust me, we've watched it. It's one of the best ones. But I was excited to rewatch it with her again.
Sure.
And since Rocky Balboa is just so beautiful, and just such a great comeback too. So
it really was amazing. Caleb, before we let you go, I have two quick questions. So the first question is, this is something that I had asked Sly, and he commented last week, and it was something that I think I want to start asking people now. I think it's a great idea. When you think of Rocky, let's say you're cruising along, you're working, you're not Rocky doesn't enter your mind at all while you're working. And all of a sudden you hear Eye of the Tiger, or someone asks you a question or something. What is the image in your mind that pops in of Rocky? Is it Rocky 1 with Gazzo? Is it on the ice skating? Is it Rocky 4, Rocky 3? Is it the Creed Rocky? Where do you see the character?
Oh man, that's such a great question. And to tell you the truth, for me personally, Rocky 2 is my favorite film. So in my picture back here, the one with him and Butkus on the steps, right. I was telling you about it on the tour, but this is, he's wearing his tiger jacket. And so because Rocky 2 is my favorite film, I think I see him, walking with that jacket with Butkus, wearing the fedora, of course.
Stacy, what did Sly say?
Yeah.
Huh?
What did Sly say? Rocky 2. That's how he sees the character.
Yes,
right. He did say that, didn't he?
Yeah. Rocky 2 is how he sees the character. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that threw me. I didn't expect that.
I didn't either. I thought he was going to say Balboa. So when he said Rocky 2, I was like, wow.
I know.
Yeah. Man, that episode was so amazing, and such a treat to kind of see.
It was great. I gotta say, I will not high five myself all that much. I'll high five Stacy every day, but not so much myself. But I will high five myself on that one, because that was a big moment, and I'm really proud of it, and I'm glad you liked it. All right, last question, and then I'm gonna let you go.
Yes, sir.
You've got 30 seconds in an elevator with Sylvester Stallone. What do you say?
I would just say thank you so much for trusting your gut, and for writing Rocky and sticking with your guns and playing the character, and your portrayal of Rocky, has made an impact on me in my life in all kinds of different capacities. And I would also say, because I've had this thought before, and he talked about it in his interview last week, but I would tell him that, Rocky is just not the character that you play, but it's the, epitome of who you are and everything you embody. You know, Rocky and Sylvester Stallone are synonymous, and so I would just tell him that, like, you know, you're not just Rocky's just not a character you play, but you are Rocky. Thank you for the impact you've made on my life, and yeah, just tell him thank you.
That's a great
answer. Try to hold back the tears, you know.
Right, exactly. Exactly right. No, I know it's really an interesting question to be asked that, because, you know, what would you say? You know, do you scream? Do you start crying? What do you do? Right. Or do you just keep it together and like what you said? So I want to thank you very much for taking time out of your day and talking with us. It's been really great. I'm glad to reconnect with you, and please tell your wife I said hello and give her a hug, okay? I appreciate that.
Yeah. I sure will. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Caleb.
Such a fan of you guys and the podcast, and this was such a treat. I've been so excited to get to come on, and so yeah, great. Thank you so much. It's been a blast.
Oh, you've been wonderful,
Caleb. Like we always say, keep punching.
Keep punching.
See you guys. Take care.
You.
Bye, my friend.
Bye. Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just a guy who gets it. He really does.
Yeah.
You know, he made some great points there. Rocky met me where I was at. I mean,
I loved that.
Wasn't that great?
Yes. It's so true.
Yeah.
Because every single time, I watch it all the time. I watch every marathon. That sometimes a scene that you've seen a million times just hits that day because of what you're going through that day, you know? And so for me, Caleb is extra in that, at least in the Rocky world, because who doesn't love Rocky? Like, everybody loves Rocky kind of on the surface, you know what I mean? But then there are people who fold it into their heart, their mind, their soul, and really apply it, make decisions by it, you know, all those things. And Caleb is that. He's absolutely that perfect example of the kind of guest we want. Someone who really, it's in their veins. And that's Caleb. He's a sweetheart.
Yeah, he wears Rocky like a shirt, and I love that about him. You know, I really love that. Now, there's another guy out there that wears Rocky like a shirt. Why don't you tell us about our good friend Ronnie Dale?
Oh, Ronnie Dale! Can I just tell you? I'm going to try to find a way to play it here. Ronnie Dale left me a voice message on Instagram. He was like, "Stacy, you've done so well." He said, "You're an angel." I was just like, what? And he talked about how much he loves you and I. And even though we haven't met and we don't talk often, he feels like we're friends. If we're ever out in Vegas, he wants us to get together. But he has a fondness, you know, that is exactly what I wanted for the Rocky bubble. Like, I haven't met so many people yet. The closeness we share, because we're all Rocky fans, it's like, how can you feel that close to someone you've never really met? But when you know that you subscribe to the same thing, it's easy to feel friends with someone rather quickly. It almost fast forwards you into that closeness. You know what I'm saying? So
I know.
I just want to say to Ronnie, and I forgot his episode number. He was one of our guests. I want everyone to go back and watch his episode. He is actually similar to Caleb in that sincerity, in that genuineness, and the way he's folded Rocky into his life, and the way he's had to process his own grief through loss. Right. You know what I mean? He's similar. So Ronnie, thank you for that message. It made my day, and I'm happy to tell Mike about it, because we're all close, yet we're not physically nearby, but we're still all close because
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, it's super sweet. I will try to find a way to download it and play it here.
Stacy, I just finished watching the Rocky Files celebrating Sylvester Stallone and his birthday, turning 77. This is me, Ronnie. You are an angel. And I don't know if you've been told that and when the last time was it you were told, but you are an angel. And I consider you and Mike my brother and sister. And we don't chat all the time or anything like that at all, but you guys definitely make me feel like if we were in the same city, same state, if we were out eating dinner or something, it would be like as if time hasn't been met. I forgot that these videos only go for a minute, so I have to make this short, but I just thank God for you and Mike. And it was nice to see that you were a part of the experience with Sly sending the video to the podcast. Yes, it might have been, good things happening for acknowledgement, validation for John and for Mike, but you were right along with them. When somebody gets blessed, everybody around associated with them gets blessed. So you're an amazing person, and I thank God for you. I'm going to send Mike a little something too. Take care. God bless you guys.
One thing we forgot, I did want to do our really, really quick factoid from episode 79. Right. And so we have a 1979 little factoid that he wrote, starred, and directed in Rocky 2. That all happened in 79, grossing $200 million US. And I thought that was obviously the most important thing about 1979 in the Rocky bubble.
I don't think anything else happened.
Nothing else happened.
I don't think anything else happened.
And then, as you know, Quentin Tarantino, I love this because, I mean, some of the content Quentin Tarantino puts out is not my favorite. He's a little too violent for my style, but it's an acknowledgement, you know what I'm saying, from someone who is very talented, amazing storyteller, amazing writer, director, producer, all these things. He was in an interview and he was asked about sequels and what he thought about sequels. And he said that to his mind, in the sequel world, that Rocky 2 was the most perfect movie sequel. So I'm like, that's quite a nod from someone who's a huge director in Hollywood. So that is our 1979 facts for episode 79.
And that's something, because there's a great story there. I know we'll probably bring it up again on another Rocky Files, but we really should explore that more. Stacy, why don't you reach out to Quentin, see if he wants to come on?
Okay,
Let's just have him explain it.
Oh, that's right. I do have him right here in my phone, so I'll give him a little buzz.
Stacy, we got Rappaport, we got Sly.
Right?
Come on.
You got Sly.
We got Sly. If I was left alone to do the podcast, it would be a crap show, okay?
Aww.
But because of us, I'll meet you halfway. Because of us, he sent us that beautiful thing.
That was so nice.
You give me your word, you're going to reach out to Quentin.
I will. Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. I'll have his people call my people.
Wow. You have gone so Hollywood since episode 1.
Don't you know who I am?
I don't even know who you are anymore. Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up. Stacy, where can people find you?
I'm at Had Me at Yo on Instagram, as well as the Rocky Files and the Rocky Files podcast on Facebook. And Michael?
Nice. I wrote a little book called Cue the Rocky Music. There it is. A lot of great stories in there. Also, there's a little movie called The Pretender by the great Jim Toscano, documentary filmmaker. Check it out. It's on a lot of streaming platforms. It's on Peacock and it's on Amazon Prime, and it's for free on YouTube. And if you have the VPN or the VIN.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what that is, but if you have it, my friend Charlie, we got to get Charlie on the show too. But my friend Charlie explained it to me, so we can ask him again about it. And you can find Instagram, the Yo Philly Film Tour, or you can find me at over at TikTok, the Yo Philly Film Tour over there. So be cool, don't play a fool. And Stacy, I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Keep punching.
Keep punching.